To change your membrane out, you want to turn off your main power switch. Check your membrane pressure gauge and make sure it's gone to 0. You don't want any pressure in that membrane housing when you loosen the end cap. If your gauge does not go to 0, call the 800 number immediately so we can walk you through some steps. Undo the clamp that holds the housing end cap on and remove the clamp. Remove the end cap on the housing. Sometimes it's a little bit snug and you have to wiggle it and get it to come up. Set it out of the way. You'll notice on the end of the membrane there's little spokes that looks like a wagon wheel. Grab onto one of those spokes with your pair of pliers. Don't grab onto the center part. Use a screwdriver or another pair of pliers to pry up on the first pair. That will pull the membrane out pretty easily. If you pull the membrane up and hold it for a minute, it'll allow the water to drizzle out of it and not get all over the floor. When you put your new membrane in, you can put it in slowly. You'll find there's still some water in the housing. If you push it in real fast, the water will just shoot out the top. If you put it in slow, it'll drop down in as the water goes into the membrane itself. Once it's all the way in, you can push it down a little bit more and that will seat against the O-rings down in the bottom. You put a tiny little bit of Vaseline on the stem and the O-rings themselves. There's little O-rings on the inside as well as the big one on the outside. This will just make it easier to put in and out next time. Put your end cap back on all the way and put your clamp on. You can tighten the clamp by hand. Get it as tight as you can by hand. And then you can use a pair of pliers or a screwdriver to tighten it a little bit more, just to make sure it's really good and snug. Once the end cap is on tight, you want to open the flush valve in the back. That's the yellow handle that you open when you change the filters. You also want to open the blue test valve for testing the purified water. This will help you flush out the membrane. You want to put the end of this hose in a bucket or in a drain so it doesn't go over on the floor. Turn that valve on and then turn your main power switch on. Your membrane pressure should start to come up. Once that pressure comes up a little bit and you can tell that all the air is out of the new membrane, you can start closing the yellow valve on the back. Check your membrane pressure again. It should be in the 100 psi range. If the pressure goes up and back down, you just need to repeat the previous step and flush some more air out of the system. After you've flushed the system for a couple minutes, you can close this blue valve and check all the other readings to make sure all the readings are in the right ranges. If you have any questions or the readings are not correct, call the 800 number immediately.